Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Petal Talk podcast. I'm Allison, your host, and today I have a very special guest, one of our lovely estheticians, Kate. We're so happy to have you. We're so excited to hear about your story. We're so excited to hear about what makes you unique in your experiences. You have so many cool experiences in your past, and I'm sure, plans moving forward. And I think it's so cool to learn just about all the team members that we have and what makes them so special. And I'm really excited to dive in. So thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Miss Allison.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really, really good. I've been wanting to do podcast stuff. So this is like a nice little sprinkle of
totally a toe in the water, perhaps.
Yeah, toe head first.
Yeah, literally.
Just let's dive deep.
Literally. Hi, welcome to Petal Talk, where skincare meets soul care. Okay, cool. So typically the last few episodes I've been kind of starting at the beginning, but I kind of want for you to share a little bit about you. I'm going to share a little bit about what you do with us. Okay. And then I kind of want to touch base on when you kind of knew you wanted to go to school. So first, share a little bit about yourself, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay. My name is Kate White. I'm brand new married
Recently
married woman, so I have to still get used to that.
Yeah. How long has it been? 8 months?
It's been about 8 months,
yeah,
but nice. I'm still in that newlywed situation. I think you have to the first year you're still a newlywed. And I moved to Florida in 2021. I am living in Tavares with my husband. We have 2 cats. I am a professional makeup artist. I am also an esthetician working for you at the Rose Spa. Yes. And to get into the deeper stuff, I am a Virgo.
Yes, perfect. We do.
I love to bake, cook, clean, whatever. I sound like a little housewife.
You're a fellow trad wife.
I am definitely. And I just absolutely love working on skin.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally. Okay, so in that, right, I think that we all have a similar thought process of we all just love skin, right?
Yes.
But obviously you love makeup as well. So take me kind of back to, I think so many of us can agree that before we went to beauty school, we all have those moments of cutting up our Barbie's hair and putting makeup on our dolls. And in those moments we were oh, we're probably going to go to beauty school. What is that moment for you if you have one?
I definitely had the moment when I was probably very young. I probably was 8 or 9 watching my mom put on makeup. Of course, it wasn't a ton. It wasn't a whole beauty pageants or anything like that. I wasn't part of that whole scene. But the idea of being able to put on something to make yourself look elevated or whatever. I still remember watching a Tyra Banks YouTube video of her putting on makeup, how to put on blush, how to tweeze your eyebrows, how to do this. And I just remember on my little computer, looking up on YouTube. And that was probably the start of it way back in the day.
Right.
My mom got me really into skincare when I was probably around 13 years old. I unfortunately suffered from terrible acne. So she took me to her esthetician and I started getting facials. I started understanding what it meant to clean your face, to scrub your face, to do all the things. Now the whole sunscreen lifestyle and everything didn't come until later.
Right.
But that is when it really hit. I would say that moment when I watched the Tyra Banks YouTube video, I think I was 11.
Okay.
I think I was
so pretty
11.
much your whole life.
I would say my whole life. Yeah, definitely.
Totally.
My whole life. And then it just kind of trickled into just kind of little things throughout my life. Of course, I wasn't some, progeny, kind of whatever the word is, but I fell in love with that whole idea. So,
did you love skincare before you loved makeup?
No, actually. I think I fell in love with makeup before I fell in love with skincare. Skincare definitely came later, which it kind of hurts me to say that. Oh God. But
right.
I fell in love with theater makeup when I was, how old was I? I think I was probably a year after that. I was 12, 13.
Were you in the theater?
Oh, yes.
Okay, tell me.
I was a wannabe actress. And my mom would kill me and slap me on the face for saying that, but I wanted to act. I wanted to
Why
be
would
on
she slap
stage
you?
Because she wanted me to become an actress, and here I am as an esthetician.
Sure.
So here's
yeah.
But oh my God, I fell in love with the theater. I fell in love with the whole idea of being on stage. I was at a summer camp at my high school, actually was before my high school. And I remember telling the director, like, I just want to be on stage. And he's like, I have no idea who this kid is. And so I tried out for the summer camp, like, the theater and everything, and it was The Wizard of Oz. And I got to play the Scarecrow.
Oh my gosh.
And one of these days we can show a photo, but
I would love to.
I loved it. And
That's
this
fun.
woman who, her name was Tandy, rest her soul, she taught me how to do theater makeup, how to turn into...
It's so different.
Oh, so different.
It's so different.
It's, lights and shadows and all this kind of stuff, changing your face. There's no CGI.
Right.
Nothing like that. You have to turn into the character, and the makeup has to help you with that.
Right.
I fell in love with that.
Yeah. Why? What was it?
I have no idea. I think it's the same way that we all have like a fall in love with skin and like being in the room and like really getting into it. It's that same little like tingle and spark that just makes my body just go I don't know, I sound like a 13-year-old, but
it's cool though.
It makes me feel good. So basically from 12 years old until I actually was in my first year at college, I only played men on stage.
You're joking.
I'm not joking. Oh. And I will have to say I was a fantastic male.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
So that theater makeup really, I had to hone into that, like changing myself to look like a man.
Like a beard on.
I had the wig, I had the mustaches, I had the suits on. I looked great.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Yeah, and so throughout my high school career, I literally was doing theater makeup twice a year. I was playing volleyball also, but it was my love. And so when I went to college, I made the decision not to do theater, like actual acting, because I felt like there was something else that I could do. That's when I moved to New York.
Okay.
So 2015 comes around, and
this is like the height of the makeup
era. Like
the like makeup. 2013, 14, 15, 16. It like couldn't get any cooler.
Yeah, I mean, we had, Instagram like started blowing up. Everybody, I would say maybe the influencer kind of started to trickle in.
She was born then.
She was born. Like, I still remember the 2016 Kylie Jenner, crazy
the
lips.
Liquid lip.
Oh, God.
The Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit.
Yeah, oh my God.
I didn't get lip filler. It's just my lip.
Right.
No. So that whole thing kind of was like the underling. Like, I was doing makeup. I was enjoying myself. I was going to Halloween parties when I was in college. In college, I actually took a professional makeup course.
What did you study? What was your degree?
My degree was theater and new media. It was like a guinea pig situation with my college. It was brand spanking new. I was probably like maybe the second class to actually take it on.
Oh, wow.
What you learned is every single thing basic to the theater, and also in new media, social media.
Sure.
So you would learn directing, you would learn stage management, you would learn acting, comedy, the whole 9 yards. And on the other hand, you would learn social media. You would learn how catfishing works. You would learn how social media base works.
Right.
You would learn how to code and do all this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, you do love coding.
Yeah.
I forget about that.
I definitely became like a weird jack of all trades because I learned everything basic, which was kind of nice to think about, like, oh, I could do anything in theater. I'd be totally into that.
But don't you also think that the makeup artist is kind of expected to do everything?
Oh yeah.
I personally, as also a previous professional makeup artist, they want you to have the sewing needles, the hairpins, the band-aids, your steamers. I'm like, why is it always a makeup artist's job to have everything on set?
Because you are the
catch-all.
You are the catch-all. You are the therapist.
Totally.
You are the whole
The makeup artist will do it. I'm like,
I mean, as bad as it was, I never carried around one of those big lights because I was like,
you're like, this is the one thing I will be bringing. Everything else, though, don't worry about it. Bottled water, don't worry. Yeah. I got everything else.
So when I was in college, I took a theater makeup class. During January, you could either leave school, you could take a class, and I decided to take a class because I'm like
the whole month of January. Oh, cool.
And so it was really cool because it was like a whole semester smashed into one. It was only one class, so I took the theater makeup part of the theater new media class, and I loved it. It was like the rebirth of like my high school.
Like, I miss it.
Like, I could do this all day. Right. And my poor teacher, when I told him I wanted to do theater, he said, "There's only a few places in New York City, Wicked, Phantom, Lion King that actually have a makeup artist. Most
Why?
actors do their makeup.
Okay.
They do their own makeup. They get taught by someone and then they do their own
And you're
makeup.
talking about like Broadway.
I'm literally talking like the height
Creme
of
de la
Broadway.
creme,
I was
yeah.
like, I am going to be that person.
Yeah.
I am going to do that.
Right.
And so thank God I still had that fire. So after I graduated from my college, I went on to Makeup Forever Academy in New York City.
That's so cool.
It was very cool. I
Yeah.
don't think that place is even around anymore. I think COVID
shoot.
kind of shut it down.
Oh, that sucks.
But in 2019, that's where I went. I was there for 6 or 7 months, and we learned everything. Everything from beauty, fashion, body painting, gore.
I love body painting. It's so cool.
I do too.
Yeah.
I still have one of the ones that I wanted to do that
Yeah.
they told me that I couldn't.
Yeah.
It's just a whole nother- But that was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And the worst thing was, and I say this with every grain of salt, is I don't know if they liked me enough.
Oh my
because-
gosh.
No. And I mean that, I mean that in like kind of like, not in a pitiful way, but in just, I wasn't fashion. I wasn't beauty. I wasn't doing brides. I wanted to do theater.
Sure.
And I remember telling my teacher, I was like, I want to do theater. That's what
Like,
I
I don't want
want
to do weddings.
I just, brides, I
Right.
love you,
Right.
but like I don't
Right.
want to deal with
Right.
being a therapist. I want to make art.
Sure.
And the words that came out of my teacher's mouth still ring in my ear like, you're never going to do that.
Oh.
So I showed them.
Right. You're like, so I did.
So I did. And I sent my resume out to the 41 Broadway shows.
Okay, so you finished school.
Yeah.
You get your certificate.
Sorry, I'm like jumping
And
ahead.
then so what happens then? Like if someone's listening to this and they also maybe want to do that, like you like just cold email.
So I
resume?
emailed my resume. I sent my resume. I did like the FedEx whole thing. I did the my resume. I did a headshot, and then I showed my work. Thank God in Makeup Forever Academy, and find this if you are going to a school. Make sure they make a portfolio for you.
Okay.
Because that is the golden ticket, showing that you can work on different skin tones, that you can work with different people. That
You probably
can
have
do
like a
different
wide
things.
range.
Yeah.
You can do special effects, you can do body painting, you can do glam, whatever.
Right. And
yeah.
that is what's going to make you sparkle.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I graduated Makeup Forever Academy, I didn't straight go into Broadway. What was
that journey?
So I started getting contacted through my school because they had a good program where they could, people could send like, hey, like I need someone for this, that, and the other thing.
Sure.
You were doing a lot of free work.
I was going to say, it's probably all for free.
It's all
and
for
because you guys
free.
were students, they didn't feel like they needed to pay anyone. Yeah, right. Which at that point, it is kind of nice to just get the experience.
Oh, yeah. Well, start racking up your portfolio.
Right.
That is the most important. If you build a portfolio, you're going to get better.
And that's kind of like your internship at that point. It's kind of like assisting at that point. Yeah.
Heck yeah. I mean, I thank my parents every single day because they were really helping me like stay alive.
That's good. Yeah.
Because in New York City, it's expensive.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
So expensive. So anyway, I did some fashion week. I did some photo shoots. I worked with a lot of NYU students for their small films. Then when I sent out the resumes, when I started doing stuff, I started trying to meet with people, producers, people that I could talk to. And my dad, thank God, was like, hey, like I know someone who is in the world of, I don't know, like banking or whatever. And he's got this friend in New York and she knows a couple people. You want to have breakfast with her? Mm-hmm. I was like, sure. Like, I don't care. So I met up with her, had some coffee. She goes, oh, I know a producer somewhere.
It's all about connections.
Like, like, let me talk to them. You seem like a really sweet girl. Like, I'll try to help you. Mm-hmm. Well, that producer was part of Wicked. Mm-hmm. And that producer knew the makeup artist of Wicked. Mm-hmm. And shout out to Craig Jessup for not turning me away.
Yeah.
But I showed up to the House of Wicked at the Gershwin Theater.
Okay, tell me about this because I don't know a lot about this.
No.
So
I know,
what is that? Yeah, tell me more about this.
What do you want to know?
Like what? Okay, so obviously I know like a little bit about Wicked. Okay, but I'm gonna be so honest, I don't know that much about it.
It's okay.
But tell me like I know like Wicked and Lion King like specifically are like truly like out of this world so excellent type. Why? Is it because they're like older productions?
So I believe, Wicked came to Broadway officially, I believe, in 2024. It started in San Francisco in 2023 as just like, heck, let's see if this actually flies, LOL. And it blew up. People fell in love with the way that the show like is designed. It's beautiful. It is just, it's magical. It's gorgeous. The costumes are unbelievably over the top. And the story of the two girls finding friendship out of strife.
I read the first book like forever ago.
The book is so... I have a person reading it right now and she's like, it's so difficult to read.
Yeah, I seriously read it like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't remember much other than
it's a little
general idea of the story.
Yeah, it's definitely... the book, I need to actually read it again just because now I'm older.
Right.
Like 10 years ago, I'm like...
Right.
But that show just... It brings just this sense of beauty and awe to the audience. It's built like a clock, and it's the dragon clock. It's just it's beautiful. It's just cool. It's so beautiful. And then Lion King, I believe, came to Broadway. I don't know when it came to Broadway, but again, costumes, the people, the art that comes together. It was one of the first shows that they actually brought back after COVID because they knew it actually would bring people and make people feel good. And also the music is just
everyone knows.
Everybody knows The Lion King.
Right.
So with Wicked in general, it's a very tight-knit community.
Is it?
Broadway is very tight-knit.
Okay, I figured.
It is.
But I don't know much about that.
I feel like I was trying to get into the Illuminati.
Oh my God. Because it's like a secret club.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is like Fight Club. Like the first thing the rule about Fight Club.
You don't talk about Fight Club, right?
And so when I got the email from Craig Jessup.
Okay, yeah, so what happens then?
Yeah, so once I did the whole emailing with the producers and everything, and I was like, okay, this is good, we're making forward. So I contacted with Craig Jessup, and he's like, here's a podcast I was on, just listen to it so we can get to know each other. I'm like, okay, you know my resume, whatever. So I listened to the podcast, and this guy was from the Bay Area. He went to my college.
And you had lived in California as well.
Yeah. So I lived in, I'm originally from California.
Yes.
And so I was in my apartment listening to this.
We are the same.
I'm like, we are literally the same kind of people. I cannot. And so I made up in this little comment in my head once we finally meet. I was like, oh, you're a Bay Area Griffin? Because Griffin was the mascot of our college.
Oh, that's so funny. I can't wait.
I can't wait to
for my moment.
Right. So walking to the Gershwin Theater, I had never seen Wicked on Broadway.
Okay.
Never.
Okay.
And so walking up to where all these people walked through these stage doors, ringing the doorbell, being able to actually be let into the stage door, that was just
so cool,
crazy moment. So the first time that I went was an hour and a half before the show. So because I could not see the secrets and the fun things of what
because you weren't a part of it then.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I walked around with Craig. The 13-year-old self who had seen it was pounding in my chest, and I met some people and I walked around. I saw the stage. I was basically in shock.
Yeah.
And so I had a conversation with Craig, and at the end of the conversation, he's walking me to the stage door, and he turns to me. He goes, "So you're not crazy, so that's a good thing." And I was like, "Thanks."
Yeah. Well, little do you know.
little do you know.
Right.
And he's like, I think this could work. And I'm like, what do you mean this could work?
For what?
What are you talking about? He's like, I'll give you a call. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Okay.
So you died in this moment.
So I died on the train up to my boyfriend's apartment. And I was just on the train. I'm like, oh my God, I have a job with Wicked. Am I going to be am I going to be like, what's going on?
Right.
So about a month later, I get a call, or excuse me, I get a text.
A month later.
A month later.
I'm sure you felt every moment of that month.
I was doing things.
Yeah.
I actually got my first paid gig in that month.
Oh,
so
well,
I was
that's good.
ecstatic.
That's good, yeah.
I was doing a film. I think I was doing on the film on the Upper West Side.
Oh, cool.
And I was in the car with my boyfriend, who was now my husband at the time. And I get a text. And it's like, hey, I'd like to have you come in for a trial. And I'm like, a trial of what? And he was
For
like,
what?
he's like, to paint a girl green. And I was like,
Oh my
I'll
gosh.
scream into this, but
Yeah.
I wanted to scream.
Yeah.
I screamed in the car.
I'm sure.
I called one of my friends from Makeup Forever, and I said, can I use you as a model? And she's like, yeah, for what? And I was like, I need to paint you green like
Her whole
Elphaba.
body?
No, just her
Okay,
face.
okay, yes. I'm like,
And she
okay.
was like, you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyway, she was like, I'm there. Like,
Yeah.
don't even. She's
Yeah.
like, to be in that paint is amazing.
Yeah.
And
Did you have to bring your own supplies?
no,
Oh, okay, great.
I would just have to bring myself and my coffee.
Perfect.
I
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just like, I just need to bring me.
Right.
Like, I don't need to bring
Right.
500 bags
Right.
with me and
Right.
everything else. And so he tells me, he goes, you have 11 minutes.
11 minutes? That's kind of crazy.
Girl, I did it in 23.
Oh my gosh. You're kidding. 11 minutes? That's kind of crazy.
You have to do the makeup under 11 minutes.
Why? Why so fast?
Just that's the way the show rolls.
Oh my
You
gosh.
just have to do it. So
Okay.
I'm painting her.
That's kind of how it rolls though backstage.
Girl.
But that kind of shocks me with Broadway that it would be so quickly because don't they get ready for like all day?
Not really.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I had
Not
no idea.
really. Yeah. No, I mean it's kind of weird how Broadway works.
Yeah.
So there's the 11 minutes. I do it in 23 or whatever, and he's like, "Okay, like you did a good job."
That's
and I was
hilarious.
just like,
Did it look good?
I mean,
You're like, I mean, I got better, but it's fine.
you got a little bit better.
Yeah.
And so every time that I would go back and like learn, because I had to do it a couple more times,
Sure.
of course, and then I mean, I was crying most
What
of the
did
time.
practicing look like at home? Were you practicing at home?
No, I couldn't practice
Oh,
at home.
shoot.
The makeup that they use is this like cake powdered watered makeup from MAC. They literally used to sell it. And now they just make it for Wicked. MAC used to be the makeup.
Mac used to be the makeup
It
for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's so interesting.
So when I did it there, I only could do it there, and so I
Sure.
only had like 3 tries
Yeah.
to do it until I did it on an actress
For the show?
for the show.
That was a part of your trial? Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Did you do it in the 11 minutes?
I did.
Oh,
I
good.
I went like, I don't know if I drank 6 cups of coffee or whatever.
Sure.
I don't know if they
You're
took
just
something
in
in my
the-
coffee.
in the groove.
I was on it.
Yeah.
I was on it. And the woman who, and I cannot remember your name, but the woman who
Whoever she is.
whoever she is who played Elphaba that day,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Because my nerves were like this.
Yeah.
On top of doing makeup for Wicked, you also run a track. What that means is backstage, you are also doing other things. I'm worrying about monkey heads. I'm worrying about stashes. I'm worrying about where Fiero is. I'm worrying about where the Tin Man is. Like,
Oh my.
and so on top of doing the makeup, you are also running the show. So from 5:30 to 12 a.m., you are there.
Yeah, it's a long night. Yeah. But I bet you so miss it.
I miss it and I don't miss
Yeah.
it. I had the show running through my head as nightmares when I was working there. I literally had the show running through
I'm
my
sure,
head.
yeah.
But no, I mean, I loved it. But I remember when I first, Allison, he brought me out to the audience to watch her sing in my makeup.
Did you cry?
Oh, I cried like a little baby.
Yeah.
I
Are
cried
you allowed
like
to take pictures? Oh, I didn't think so. Yeah.
I mean,
figured no.
I have pictures of
Sure.
the art that
Like random
like random
scraps,
things,
yeah,
and
right.
but I never took a photo of myself backstage.
Yeah.
I never like did all this kind of stuff. But the people I worked with, these unbelievable
sure.
actors and actresses,
I'm sure.
and the
I'm sure. Were the other makeup artists also so excellent?
oh, Craig had been there for 13 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
Mind you, this man knows Lady Gaga personally.
Oh, nice.
Just
He's really cool. Not to flex, but like I am really good friends with one of Lady Gaga's backup dancers. So
let's just
like same.
Let's
Just kidding. No, but I am friends with her. She's great.
Yeah, he used to roll around with her on the Lower East Side, like when she was like
Wow.
just starting. He was like, "Oh, I remember her," and I was like, "When?" He's like, "Yeah, I was in a photo shoot with her with Tony." And I was like, "Tony Bennett?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I was like,
You're like, oh, casual. Yes.
"Flex."
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, I miss it. COVID ripped.
Okay, so tell me then, right? Because I knew that.
Yeah, I was not fired.
Right. So what happened? So it's like the beginning of March.
Yeah, so it's the beginning of March. I went on vacation with my husband or my boyfriend at the time, but we went to San Francisco because I wanted him to see where I grew up. All this
You guys were like
stuff.
kind of fresh.
Oh, we were fresh.
Yeah.
We were like a year in.
Yeah.
And I had done probably, I don't know how many shows, maybe 10 or 12 shows before we left because Craig was trying to help me get my union card. Because once I got my union card, I could work on other shows. I could say, look, I'm union.
Yeah.
Let me in.
Okay. If someone is listening and doesn't know what that means, will you explain that?
Oh,
them?
yeah. So on Broadway or part of Broadway's kind of, there's like an actors union, there's a makeup artist union. All these unions basically make rules and regulations on how someone is paid, how many hours they have to work, and basically you also have to pay dues, which mean that you actually have to pay into being like part of this club.
Okay.
It's like kind of the,
Sure.
it's not the exact definition, but that's how they explained it to me.
Yeah.
So as I was racking up my hours and racking up the time that I was working on Broadway, when you work for a union show, you have a certain amount of time to rack up, I believe it's 180 hours to apply for your union card. They go through everything and then they'll send you a union card and then you have to pay some godforsaken money out to be part of it to get the like creds and everything.
And then you can like
need.
work anywhere.
Yeah, pretty much. And so when we were in San Francisco, actually we were in San Diego at the time, that's when Sugar Honey Iced Tea hit the fan.
Yeah.
And we were watching all the international flights going out.
Right.
I got an email from Wicked saying we are shutting down for 2 weeks. And
Right. Well, and isn't it so funny to like see that? It'll just be 2 weeks and then
it'll be cute. 2 weeks.
Right.
2 years later, here we are.
Literally 2 years.
And well, the worst of it was when I was working on probably the second to last show that I did for Wicked up there in 2020. I remember the woman who was playing Alphaba come back during second, like about to go into second intermission, or we were going into intermission, excuse me. She goes, I don't know what the hell is going on. I was like, what's wrong? And she goes, there's like 3 people in the front row like wearing masks. She's like, what do you think? I'm going to spit on them or
Oh
something?
my gosh, that's so funny.
And I was just like, oh. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. I said, well, I mean, people in Asia, they wear masks where they
Sure.
like, I don't,
Right.
I'm not to profile, but
Right.
like, is that what it is? She goes,
Right.
no, they were like white as you. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, sorry.
Right.
But yeah, the world shut down and it was like email after email every month being pushed. Okay, it's going to be July. Okay, it's going to be August.
It's going to be January of 2021. Right.
And at the time, I was living in Brooklyn and I couldn't get a subway. The subways were running like every other hour.
Oh my gosh.
So I moved in with my now husband upstate New York. And then the world kind of changed. And that's when the esthetician stuff came
Okay,
flying
so was it because you finally had like time that you were like, I'm going to do this? Or were you always kind of maybe going to go to skin school?
I knew that I wanted to go into skin school probably, I would say, actually, the reason that I knew that I had to go to skin school is because in New York City, they passed a law that happened to be in 2020 that you could not work as a professional makeup artist
Without an aesthetics license.
Without an aesthetic license.
Yeah.
And they, like Sephora wasn't even hiring people without
I was
an
going to say
aesthetic
that
license.
actually, I believe, I don't know if in the same year, but that is now, I think it's all across the board.
Oh, I think so too.
You can't do anything. Yeah, Sephora, I remember, obviously at the time I worked for like beauty schools and Sephora would reach out to the schools and say like, we will pay for their tuition if can you get them in? Right. And I remember there was multiple times where we had classes full of like, mostly like Sephora and like Ulta employees.
Right.
Because they would get their school paid for because they had to. They were like these general managers who'd worked there for like 10, 12 years.
Yeah, they just got fired.
Totally. And so they were like, well, I guess we'll go to school. And I'm like, sorry, that's really like sucky. I feel really bad. I had no idea.
Yeah. So
anyway, yes.
In New York City, because I went to school with a couple of girls in esthetician school, they said we literally were working at Sephora. I've been working there for 4 years. And they literally did a massive firing during COVID and said like, I'm sorry, we have to let you go because of this new thing. And also like the world is
no
ending.
one making money. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I had planned, and before this even was a thing, I had planned that I wanted to become an esthetician. Mm-hmm. I had this whole dream. I was going to get out of Brooklyn. I was going to either move to the Upper West Side or to, what's it called? Long Island City? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Long Island City. I was going to get a small little apartment. Excuse me. And I was like, I'm going to be an esthetician during the day and a makeup artist during night.
Yeah.
Like, I can do that.
You can do both.
Fine. I
totally.
can do both. When COVID hit, I was like, what the heck am I going to do?
Yeah.
And so I started looking up, and the school that my esthetician went to in San Francisco.
Your family's one.
The family one. And then the woman that I was seeing in New York City both went to the same school, Christine Valmy.
Yeah.
In New York City.
You said,
and I was like,
I should go
magic.
There. Right.
So I looked it up, and they were actually offering part-time online and in-person like schooling.
This is in 2020.
This is literally 2020. We literally thought we were going to be eaten alive by a bug or something that we could not see.
Right.
I felt like I was living in like a fairy tale creature land. Like,
didn't you feel like the apocalypse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know about New York, but when I was living in Vegas, it was like
it died.
There was no humans.
No.
Which, like, obviously, but anytime you'd go anywhere, I mean, it's Las Vegas, New York as well. It was some of the busiest cities in the country.
Yeah, they were dead.
0 people.
Dude,
yeah.
I mean, I remember watching a video of a guy who was biking through New York. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's so eerie.
I mean, I appreciated like all the cute little like
right.
like space that I got.
Right.
But when I applied, I was like, oh, we'll see how this goes and whatever. Mm-hmm. And I got in.
Right. Do they have do they turn people away?
I don't know.
Because I don't know either. And the schools I worked at, very rarely. But I know that there are some that really are so strict with like who they... And I believe yours is one of those that is very strict.
The funny thing is, like, I don't know if mine was that strict. Like, I think you had to have graduated from high school. I think you
need like a diploma.
Like a villain.
Right, yeah, right. You can't... A lot of times you can't have any sort of... criminal background because you just can't get your license after.
Well, and also we're using lancets. We're literally using like needles and stuff. Like,
and it's so funny because some states are so against that.
Oh, I know.
Nevada, you can't use one.
I know.
Which is so funny because when I went to school, you absolutely could. Obviously, I didn't go to school in Nevada, but yeah, it's so funny. The states are also different.
Yeah, I don't know. They're really hoping that the like across the board things will get a little bit better.
I hope so.
I mean, here in the state of Florida, you literally can get your license in like
250 hours. I think
that's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
No offense, but
yeah,
I'm just like,
no, I know.
Girl, like I'm going to tell you right now,
it's worth it to do at least 600. I would say at least.
Yeah, I mean, I did 600.
Yeah.
I mean, is Nevada the one that does 1,200?
Utah's 1,200 hours. They have like a basic and a master aesthetics program. I know. It's actually really nice though.
I was going to say that sounds really nice.
That's how I'm familiar with GlyMed, is because our master's program used GlyMed. Mm-hmm. I know.
I still have to do a lot of studying with that.
Okay. Okay, so you start school, so you get the email. When do you find out that you made it?
So I found out that I was going to do the whole esthetician school in summer of 2020.
Okay.
I was doing part-time because I had no idea how the world was going to be and if there was a job waiting during the rest of the week. I wanted to be able to do it. Mm-hmm. So I went part-time. I could have finished faster, but I decided not to. It was actually during the day. It was 9 to 5 on a computer, 3 days a week.
Interesting.
It was really weird.
Tell me about your experience, because I know a lot of people don't love beauty school, but you did so much of it alone. What did that look like?
I was literally studying with a textbook. I mean, I literally felt like I was doing online college.
Yeah.
And
is that hard? Yeah. I bet it was.
Well, I was cramped up. I mean, no offense to my husband's place, but I was just like in this little room with my computer.
Just in a box all day.
In a box all day. And I literally had to study from a textbook. I had to, kind of figure it out on my own. They sent us stuff. They sent us like this big box of like 2 textbooks, like a face, product.
Like your kit.
Yeah. Right. And so that we actually had like...
What products did you use?
We literally used Christine Valmy.
They have their own line. Oh, nice. That's cool.
It was very interesting. Before COVID, I believe before COVID happened, they used to actually have a spa where you would go. And so when you walked in, everything was very, pretty. Yeah. And Christine Valmy liked to mix and match and do all that kind of stuff. She almost had like her own little apothecary for you. Like, oh, you have sensitive skin. Here's some chamomile. It was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it. It was weird.
Really?
I mean, being not in a classroom, I'm a very, very hands-on person.
Yeah.
And doing that, like, I feel for all of the people out there who literally were in college, elementary school, all that kind of stuff, who are like me, who need physical seeing. I have dyslexia, so like that's worse. And
I have to read by yourself at home.
Yeah. And so, you know, I was like, okay, I'm going to try my best, flashcards, whatever. And I did a pretty good job. I mean,
I'm sure you did.
Like, you know, whatever. I was lost in the sauce when it came to most of the products lines.
So when did you go in to work on people?
So let me see here.
Or did you?
No, we did. So I officially went into the city. Mind you, gloves, shield,
hazmat suit,
literally a hazmat suit, like going
in New York.
Going into like a nuclear war suit, and I think it was February of 2021, and so 2021 February through when was it? February to April.
I was gonna say like April or May.
April. I was going to Christine Valmy 3 times a week. I was living with my friend in Jersey so I could take the train over there. Girl, I've literally lived everywhere.
You have lived everywhere. I always forget that.
I feel like I've lived in like 600 states. We don't have 600 states, but I feel like I've just lived other places.
That's how I feel as well.
I can't say that I lived in Jersey because I only was there for like 2 months.
Sure. Yeah, still.
But I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Just like crazy. And of course, you know, blizzards stopped us from going into school.
Seriously.
And COVID and all that kind of stuff. But I mean,
did you enjoy the like in-person schooling? Like, were you close with your classmates or your teachers?
I was pretty close with some of my classmates, not all of them. We separated into 2 groups where one went with one professor and we went with another. I love my professor, Mr. Elias. Wherever you are, I love you. But he was awesome. He was very intellectual. He went to Christine Valmy.
Oh, cool.
And he also met Christine Valmy and the daughter and everybody. He did the chemical peels. They're very famous for a chemical peel where it basically takes off the 7 layers of your skin.
Actually?
Well, like, I mean, not to the bone.
Oh my gosh.
But it basically, it's a 2-day peel. And you do one layer and then you come back and you do another layer. And it's like one of those crazy peels that you like see the people with like the hard.
Oh, wow.
So
that's interesting. I had no idea.
Oh, yeah. But with New York, it was just a very weird, everything was like a certificate. So I didn't learn microdermabrasion in school. Okay. I didn't learn how to use microcurrent. I used like high frequency. We learned with Lancets. We learned, did we learn with LED light? We did the wood lamp. Like we did the whole, like we did the whole thing. But it was just very weird because it was such a weird time. And I liked my school, but I wish I got the real experience.
I know. That kind of sucks.
Yeah. And I remember telling an employer down here, I said, yeah, like my school was like okay. Yeah. And then he tells me, he's like, oh, I'm not going to hire anybody from your school because like you said it was okay. I said, that's not what I mean. Yeah, it's like my experience could have been different from someone who went 5 years ago.
Totally. And I always love to hear people's experience with beauty school because obviously working in schools for so long, I had an truly like excellent experience in school. I loved it so much. Right. And so it always makes me sad when I hear people that just thought it was okay because I loved mine so much, but yours is so mine's so different.
Mine was like so weird. I mean,
it's totally different.
I was going to say you went 10 years ago?
I went to school in 2015.
Okay, so it's been almost
literally almost 10 years.
Yeah, almost 10 years, and you're like,
thank you. We don't talk about that.
You're young. Yeah, you're acting like you're 50. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, in 2015.
Okay, so
it was totally different then.
Yeah,
and it also was kind of before skin had its like moment because I also was at the peak of makeup, right?
Right.
So I went to school as well because I wanted to do makeup and I could go to cosmetology school or I could go to esthetician school and skin was way cheaper and way faster. Duh. Like,
why not do that?
Why not do that?
Right.
And honestly, similar to you, my whole reason for even wanting to go to beauty school in general was because I had dropped out of fashion school and I wanted to go to New York Fashion Week so bad. I would have given my whole life. And I found through the beauty school that I went to that there was an opportunity once you graduated to go. And I thought to myself, peace to all the girls I was in fashion school with. Have fun being here for 4 years and then going to fashion week. I'm going to take this 6-month program and I'll see you on the other side. And sure enough, I went 6 months later and all my classmates, I'm like, work smarter, not harder. Yeah. Obviously it's different, but I still get to be in the fashion world and in the beauty world. And it's like, they're so similar. The industries are so, I'm like, please. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I try to put an outfit together.
please. Oh, please. You always look cute.
I just,
yeah, you always look cute.
No, but it's just that world, the fashion, beauty, makeup, the whole weird, it's just a whole weird.
It's its own thing. Yeah. And it can feel really overwhelming to people who are new to it, but who want to get into it.
Oh, yeah.
But I always say what's meant to be will always find its way in the end. And if it burns inside of you, because it's hard, right?
Yeah.
Fashion Week, Broadway, any sort of like film, television, whatever, music videos, it's really, really tough. And you are grinding.
Yes.
But if you have that fire, you have got to keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, because it is so rewarding.
Well, and speaking of fire, I literally, in my entire life, of all the things that I have done, was baptism by fire. Right. I have been baptized by fire for theater,
right,
for like acting, makeup,
right,
like working at Freddy's with my husband, like on the grill, like
right.
Everything I've done is do it. And
isn't it kind of better that way?
Oh, absolutely.
Because then you just do it.
If you're a hesitant person and you're like, I'm never going to do it, you're never going to do it. You have to create the fire. You have to create the baptism of fire to move forward.
Because nothing grows in your comfort zone. And especially in this industry where it is so self-paced, I always say this too, like, you can make as much or as little as you want because you can work as much or little as you want. And you can do really big, awesome things like Broadway, or you can work once a month and just do like brow waxing or whatever, like you have so many options. And kind of my thought process with that is really just do it. Yeah. Because the worst that's going to happen is you're going to be doing the same thing you're doing and like, who cares? Yeah. But as someone, who's been able to do fashion weeks and, speaking to someone who has done that and Broadway, it's like, it's so life-changing. It's so fun. It's so worth it. Tell me about, you did some shows in Fashion Week.
Yes.
Tell me about that experience.
So
I have also some stories from that experience.
So I did I think it was, I'm going to butcher the name. I think it was Art of Africa. And it was all of these African artists coming together to do a bunch of shows. And it was in this like hotel. I'm not sure where the heck it was. Sure. And the rush of trying to get, I think I did about 25 people that day.
In 11 minutes.
Minutes. I am that good. Yeah. I have 16 arms.
Seriously.
To do makeup, they give you a sheet. Like I probably got a sheet like 2 days before of like what the kind of makeup are.
And it's not a great photo. And it's just taped to the wall. And it's like, do it.
Please bring everything you have. And so I actually was with one of my classmates at this event. She and I were weirdly like always like at the same events. And so we were doing it. And these makeup were just like way over this top, like winged eyeliner. And also, my dear, you're working with every single skin tone you can imagine. Totally. So you better have all the foundation. You better have all the correct shadows to match their skin tone, to make sure that they look good. Right. And thank God I didn't have to do hair because that would have sucked.
My pro tip always for new makeup artists building their kit is, let's say you have a range of foundations. Let's say you're using like Makeup Forever. Yeah. I always recommend it to my students and to my assistants. Get every like third or fourth shade and mix that way. And seriously, learn your color theory. Oh, yeah. It is so important. If you don't understand color theory,
you will not understand your makeup.
Seriously, it is so important. And I remember running around town, same thing. And these girls would have these ginormous kits. And I'm like, why do you have all this stuff? Like, yeah, obviously you need like quite a bit as a makeup artist. But at the same time, you really should be able to have like seriously one like flash palette and be able to do whatever because you're so good with your color theory. Yeah. And it's tricky.
Oh, it's very tricky.
It's so tricky.
Yeah, I mean the Makeup Forever that like palette that I used, definitely it only had like maybe unfortunately it only had like 12 or 15 shades, but it was enough to cover everybody. I had a wheel in my my
like
kit,
the cream wheels.
The cream wheels. And then I also had a literal like color wheel, like a literal color wheel to make sure I'm like, okay, like, I just started here.
It's important too.
And, at least like I had a visual of something that I could do, but it was stressful. I mean, we were there from probably 7 a.m. until probably maybe 8 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah?
I looked like crap. I mean, I was just like, I'm covered in just paint. I mean, I don't understand these makeup artists, and maybe you're one of those blessed people who like doesn't get anything on them. I look like I went to a color festival. I like, because I used the back of my hand as my palette. I used.
Oh, you used your hand.
I loved using my hands, especially. I actually have a cute collection on my phone of like all of my
that's
my
cute.
hands, because I was just like, oh, this will be fun, like Instagram.
Yeah.
Did I ever post it?
No. I was like a big physical palette girl. I had like a stainless steel and a wooden, like artist palette, and I would go that way because I found that I could have more options.
Oh yeah.
And I just did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mixing most definitely was on my palettes, but like lipsticks and everything else.
I would seriously always just scrape it on my palette. My stuff was not cute though. Like all my tubes and stuff were disgusting because it was all like cut and melted and like put into other containers.
But that's the beauty of it. I mean, we're makeup artists. We're not. This is not pretty. We make you pretty. This is not pretty.
Totally.
Don't look at our kits. Like all those people with those gorgeous like looking kits that are all just,
like untouched. I'm like, please.
I'm like, do you even do makeup?
Totally. I'm like, so all my stuff looks disgusting.
Yeah,
and it's brand new and it's super
it.
clean. And I like wipe it every time, but I swear it looks disgusting.
The 1,300 brushes that I used to use.
No, seriously, and they're all sanitized, but they are afraid. Okay, so after you're done with that season, kind of in your life of you're finishing school. After you're done with school, are you working in a spa in New York as well? Or you're moving, or what happens kind of to this point?
I graduated school. I decided not to get my license in New York because I just had kind of a deep, dark feeling that I was never going to be back in New York City as a makeup artist or as an esthetician.
Right.
And
at this point, you and your man are pretty serious.
Oh, yeah. We are serious. We're moving to Florida together. I did not want to lose him. Yes.
How did that conversation come up?
Of moving to Florida?
He's like, I'm moving.
So I think it was during the summer of 2020. He and I were basically trying to figure out our lives. He was redoing the house that he was living in. I was helping him once in a while.
In Florida?
In New York.
In New York. Okay, I guess that's okay.
No, sorry. I'm like,
yeah, no, you're fine. No, you're totally fine.
Trying to remember all my things.
He was redoing his home in New York.
So, in redoing his house in New York City, or in New York, upstate New York, excuse me. And his parents had always wanted to go into doing something family-oriented, like franchise, something like that. Mm-hmm. So they moved forward with that, and they offered him a job. They said, do you want to do this? And he's like, heck yeah. Mm-hmm. So they were trying to plan on where to move. Texas, Philadelphia, like all these places.
Yeah.
And so Florida came up. Mm-hmm. And I hail from California, where a lot of Californians do not like Florida.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's like this stain of like people
like
thinking of rednecks and gators and hurricanes. I don't understand it. I still don't understand it, but I had it.
Isn't that true?
What, the gators, hurricanes, and and rednecks?
In Florida? It's like so country, and there's so many alligators.
They're cute, though. They don't bite. They don't bite you unless you make them.
Oh, my God. No, I'm so scared. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter.
Fine.
And so we basically went back and forth for probably a couple of months of trying to figure it out.
Why Florida? He just picked.
He's always wanted to move to Florida.
Okay.
And so when the opportunity arose that there were opportunities in Florida to grow their franchise business, it made sense.
Sure. So
when I was actually looking to buy a car, because I had never actually owned a car. I had my license, but never owned a car. Gosh. I was 23 when I bought my first car.
Oh my gosh.
And so,
so cute.
This was the cute part. I wanted this. I have a RAV4 and I love her. She's my doll and sweetheart still. That's who I have. Yeah. And she and I have ridden all over the world now. But when in 2020, I was looking for this car and I told the car guy, I was like, hey, like I really want this color. It was like this dark gray. I loved it. It was smoky. And he was like, okay, well, I'll try to find it, but I don't know if we're going to, but there's more white out there. So I told my husband, Jesse, I said, if he finds the gray car, we're staying here. If he finds a white car, we're moving.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, all right, I found the white car. I'm like, all right, we're moving to Florida.
Oh my! And so it was that easy.
I mean, there was more to it, but it was more of a joke.
That's
but
hilarious.
It was kind of like a
okay, I guess we will.
So we packed up and we moved in 2021 after I was done with my school and moved down here. I worked with him with his burger place down in Orlando for probably 3 to 4 months, just learning everything. I was on the grill. I've probably made some people some burgers.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun though.
And then the whole spa world finally started opening up. I still tried to get makeup like work.
Sure.
And I went to Universal. I went to Disney.
Yeah. Nothing? I'm sure that's also so hard to get into, as hard as Broadway, but I'm sure like Disney hard.
Disney was a bitch.
That would have been so cool though as well.
Oh yeah. But you want to hear a funny story about that? About Disney?
Tell me.
So I applied to become like a team member or whatever they call them over there. And
You probably call them like happy
people.
Something, yeah. You know what I mean?
Happy workers.
You seriously.
And I applied to like popcorn salesman. Like I did not care. A girl, no, don't look at me like that.
They're that strict?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
You get a specific job where you are. So I applied and then I got a response that said, okay, please take this like quiz thing, like to make sure that you're good and like all this kind of stuff. And then we'll move you on to an in-person interview. I'm like, okay.
Great.
So I'm sitting there in my PJs with a big cup of coffee some morning taking this thing. It takes me about 45 minutes. Mind you, the questions are like, do you smile all the time?
You're kidding.
Like, never.
Are you happy?
Yeah, like, are you happy? Like, would you lie on your resume to get a better job? Like, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'm being as honest as possible. Like, I'm not smiling. Well, hey, I am not smiling while I'm having my coffee. Like, I'm not
like I'm tired.
Like, no. So I get
so funny.
Well, I get to the end of this thing and it goes, thank you so much for doing this. There is no position that is like you
that like
could
suits
fill,
you.
like suits you.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh my God, Disney just told me I have no personality. Please. Like there's no job that fits your personality.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like,
wait, that's crazy that they told you that so fast.
Oh yeah, but it's a digital thing. And honestly,
I wonder if you went back and took it and just said yes to everything, if you would get anything.
Girl, there is literally something on Reddit where you can pass it.
You're
told
kidding.
Me that.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
To get to the next step.
Sure, yeah.
And so I just said, okay, screw you. Sorry.
Right, like, that's probably not what I want.
So I drove around Orlando and I was passing out my resume in person and I walked into a Hand and Stone in Dr. Phillips and I said, hi, this is my resume. They looked at it and they're like, why the hell are you here? Like you have Wicked on your thing. I'm like, clearly no one cares. Right. So
you're like it's a hard season to be in.
Yeah, like I am just whatever. And so I was trying to get also all of my paperwork and everything transferred over from New York to get my license down here because no one was telling me what to do.
Right. And it's hard. Transferring state to state with your like reciprocity is hard. But I guess you didn't have reciprocity because you didn't actually obtain your initial license there.
And so it was more difficult to, I had to go to a school, take their test, and then they passed me, and then I had to go through the DPR or whatever it is. So I started working at front desk at Hand and Stone, and then I got
that's crazy.
Yeah, and I literally learned everything you can imagine when it came to the spa. I learned front desk. I learned how to answer the phone. I got over my fear of like being like, thank you for calling. And then I got another job at another Hand and Stone as an esthetician, and that is where things started to pick up. Just picked up.
Life got better,
and my life got a little better.
Yeah,
it was a little weird over there, but it was
right.
It was definitely.
Well, now you're in like the dream.
Now I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which is actually working with people getting their skin to become better instead of borderline like
keeping it the same,
like a flat line.
Totally. So if someone is new to this industry or they are maybe just graduated and maybe Hand and Stone Massage and V is kind of their only option. What advice do you have in that, or like, because I do believe that we've talked about this, Hand and Stone, Massage and V, those are stepping stones.
Yes.
What advice do you have for those types of people?
Get in it now.
Yeah.
Like, just go and do it. It is a very, I want to like be positive, but there are a lot of you out there. There are a lot of estheticians out there. There are a lot of you who are doing the same thing. Find something that makes you different. Go take the classes to learn how to dermaplane, to microneedle. Take the classes to make yourself elevate.
I totally agree.
And that is what's going to make you different. It's not your resume, it's what you can bring to the table.
I totally agree. So
my biggest, I'm trying to think of like the best way and what to do is just, I don't know. Just,
it is a good stepping stone.
But absolutely.
And you need to have the practice on the people, especially in your scenario where you didn't have a ton of like hands-on experience.
No.
It probably was just nice for you to get to honestly like practice.
Yeah.
Because you really didn't have a ton.
That's what it was. I mean, during COVID, I literally had to practice on my, like,
your 5 classmates.
Yeah.
Right.
Like my 5 people that I was working with, our skins looked like hell.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And like
That's
chemical
so real.
peels and like, poking and prying.
Our skin
and
never
everything.
looks worse than when we're in beauty school.
Girl, I could
Our skin and hair and nails. And our like body
I was
hair.
gonna say my nails look kind of wonk right now,
hopefully.
but no, it's funny. It's just funny to think about. But just, yes, get into those stepping stones. Don't try to go for the Four Seasons or the JW Marriott or whatever. If you do, congratulations.
Right.
But do not stop yourself from actually making those stepping stones.
Totally.
And, a lot of people are doing stuff on their own. If you want to open your own business and do your own thing, but find that niche. You got to find a niche.
Totally.
I don't have a niche yet, but we're getting there.
Right. You do.
I do. I do
totally
have
do.
a niche. I love working with
You're
people.
an excellent service provider. You really are. Obviously, I'm not in all of your services, but the ones that I am, you really are. And what I really enjoy about watching you provide services is you do have this, like, it is so much of an experience. The way that you come back and go back to a guest, I don't even know like the hand movements, but like you're very present. You're aware. Like you can tell that the way that you went to school was like very much cared about the details.
Yes.
And like even how it's like so jarring to have your eyes closed and then have someone touch you.
Oh, absolutely.
And the way you come back and the way that you apply things that might be cold, or like even your spa voice is like so lovely when people are like, sleeping sometimes.
Right.
And I think that that's another thing that sets apart good estheticians and great estheticians is also things like, are you dripping things in their ear, in their hair, like down their neck? Like we might not care, but they do.
You can't be sloppy.
Totally.
You cannot be sloppy in your
Totally.
voice.
Are their ears bent in the headband? Like
Right.
you never make those mistakes ever.
Yeah, I mean, no matter where you are in a spa, you need to make it a spa experience.
Totally.
I don't care like if the room is bright yellow.
Totally.
You need to make it and the sun is beaming through. You need to make it a spa environment. Spa voice, spa touch, spa anything was a critical part of my education at Christine Valmy.
I can totally
You had to learn how to properly speak to people. You had to properly touch someone properly, to not wake them, to not startle them. Believe me, I have definitely slapped someone with a towel before. It happens.
Or drop one.
Drop one, like,
Right.
or like drop product and everything. Right. It happens. But it's okay to say, oh, my apologies. I hope everything's okay. Like everything's fine. Right. And they go, oh, okay. Yeah. It's not like you're dropping.
Just talking to him.
Well, it's not like you're dropping a brick of 500 pounds on their head.
Right. Just tell.
But no, I mean, I just thoroughly enjoy working with people. You work with me, you are my main priority for the rest of time.
Totally.
That's what I want you to feel when you walk in the room with me.
Totally.
Most definitely.
Do you have any advice for someone starting in their skincare journey? Someone who also came from like cystic acne, challenged skin. Maybe they're listening to this.
Don't pick.
Yeah, seriously. It's not worth it.
It's not.
The scars aren't worth it.
God, the scars are not worth it. I think coming from a person who has suffered from acne and is still suffering from acne, mind you, it's just something that, I want to say this with a grain of salt. It's unfortunately something I'm just dealing with, but I'm trying to change the way that I look at myself with it.
Right.
And I'm also trying to change my world around what I'm using on my hair, on my skin, in like what I'm eating, my sheets.
Yeah.
Like we are in a changing time right now where a lot of things are coming up about toxicity. We're coming up with a lot of stuff that we've been eating as children that might have well been killing our skin.
All the frozen foods and craziness.
Yeah,
all
like
the
my
kid cuisines.
Go-Gurt and the kid cuisines and the like Go Pops or whatever the hell they were called. Yeah. And it's more of you have to You first have to make peace with yourself. This is like a 12-step program.
Right.
I'm probably in the 4th step right now, which I don't even know what that step is.
Right.
But the first step is unfortunately saying, I can get through this. I can.
And you're not
do
like
this.
a bad person if you have acne.
No.
And you're not like an ugly person if you have acne.
No.
And you're not like any less of a human just
no.
because you do. And I know that it can feel like maybe those things are true, but they're just not.
Well, and
at
also
all.
you feel like you're the only person in the United
Totally.
States.
Or everyone's looking at it and they're not.
No.
They're not. They're too busy thinking about their own stuff.
Yeah. But I will
you'll
do
get through
anything
it.
in my power to help you with your acne. But yeah, excuse me, my goodness, that water is really getting wet. The one thing that I would just say to people who are suffering from acne is really look around at your surroundings of what you're doing for yourself. Make it a selfish act to go, what am I putting in my body? What am I putting on my body? How's my hair? Like, make it a priority to see how things are around you.
Totally.
There's so many articles, TikToks and Instagrams and all that kind of stuff of people out there who are using different things. Like, I'm obsessed with learning about tallow right now.
Yeah.
And it's like beef fat rubbing on your skin.
yeah.
I'm thinking, like, why do people do that? Like, people have been doing this
People
for
love it.
thousands
Yeah.
of years.
Right.
Thousands. And here we are yet again going back to rubbing beef fat on our on our faces. And it's got
Snail mucus.
well, yeah. And don't go for the snail mucus,
Yeah.
go for the tallow. But it's more of sometimes the most natural stuff that we've been doing for thousands of years is what we should be doing. And, there's also this whole thing about sunscreen. I'm not even getting into that. But it's more of just take care of yourself and your acne will follow.
Absolutely.
Going away.
That's an excellent phrase.
Thank you.
I agree.
I hope that made sense.
No, it totally did.
Okay. I was
think
going to
that's
say,
good.
I was like, your acne will follow. I'm like,
Yes.
your acne will disappear.
No, totally.
And, yes, you will have a flare up. I have a flare up once in
Right,
a
it
while.
happens.
And, hormones.
Be patient with yourself.
Please be
Yeah, be kind to
patient.
yourself.
It's the only thing. I mean, yes, I do take my vitamins. I do eat the right stuff.
Right.
You just look at your surroundings. What am I putting on my body? What am I eating? What's doing it? Whatever you eat is going to come on your skin. And of course, if your oils are all unbalanced and everything, we need to get that going.
Right.
But yeah,
We're all about self-love over here.
please,
Self-confidence.
girl,
Right.
we're learning.
Yeah.
We are learning every day. I'm a 28-year-old woman who's just like, confidence? I think not. Like,
Please.
like,
Please.
yeah, no,
Well, you do a great job.
Thanks. I'm trying so. I just love skin. I know you feel the same way. It's
do.
like you get that little giddy flutter.
I love
it's
skin.
Like, yes. Like when you see something work, the products that we're using at the Rose Spa, IS Clinical, now Glymed, possibly some other fun things in the future, they work.
They work so well.
They work. And when you see them work, it's so nice.
We just had a guest literally just this morning who popped in and was saying she just turned 70.
Okay.
And she said, I have been spending thousands and thousands of dollars on my skin every year, my whole life. I have never in my life felt like I was okay to leave the house without makeup, do anything without makeup. And she just recently started doing the IS Clinical treatments. She's done a couple Fire and Ice treatments and she did like some bio peel. And she said to us just today, I wish that I had a tenth of the confidence I have now back then because I have never felt calmer, stronger, brighter, more empowered with my skin now. And she's like, I'm 70 years old. She's like, I've never looked better. I've never felt better. Wow. And it's all because of you. She was telling Caitlin.
Oh,
and both of us just like sobbing in the lobby.
Oh, I bet.
And she's like, I feel amazing. I look good. I feel good. I feel healthy. And my skin has never looked better. And I'm like, I'm so happy for you. You deserve it. And I'm so sorry that it took you until you're 70 to feel that. But I'm so glad that you feel it now.
Yeah. No, I mean, I shout it from the rooftops, honestly, about the products, the correct products, the real products that work.
Right.
Scientifically derived from good plants and good things and enzymes and everything else that actually help with your skin instead of hurt you. There are so many product lines out there that just destroy your skin. I did it. I did it.
Right.
And I don't ever want someone to go down the path of trying to do...
No, just come see us.
Please.
We'll take care of you.
Don't do proactive. Don't do like all that kind of
If
stuff.
you see it on TikTok, don't do it. No, I'm just kidding.
Please. Yeah. I mean, all the all the
know.
TikTok stuff. I mean, I'm not on TikTok. I barely go on Instagram these days.
Right.
It's terrible.
Right.
But it's just the amount of misinformation about how you should be taking care of it. That one influencer from across the world using one serum that made her skin look so pretty might not work for you.
See a professional. Just always see a professional.
Please see a professional.
Come see you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Come see me. I am a professional.
Tell us where everyone can find you.
You can find me at the Rose Spa, located in Lake Mary.
Yes.
You can also find me on my Instagram at the KW, or oh my God, I'm literally losing my mind. I'm thinking like the Kate Griffith, and I'm like, that's not anymore.
because you're married now.
I'm married now. No. Skin by KW is me. It's underscore to be the K.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, please do, because I can't remember. This is how much I've been on Instagram. And then I don't really. Just please come find me. I want to help you. Please, I'm all ears for whatever's going on. Yes. I love working with you. I'm all about that lymphatic drainage. I'm all about making you feel amazing. That's the number one thing. The Rose Spa, get going.
Get going. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Yes.
And we'll have to have you on again here soon.
Oh, absolutely, my darling.
Okay, that's all.
Okay.
Bye.